Hello everybody and welcome back to KSP POV, but this time in the space race. In case you missed my announcement, we are now pitting both KSP POV and the KXP series against each other to see who can complete the goal of planting a flag on every celestial body first. So KXP has the leg up as they started last Friday, and so we have a little bit of a catch up. We're going to have to copy some of their launches and see if we can do it with our own flair in the IVA mode. So let's go ahead and start a new game and get started. We're going to pick the Kerbin flag from our flag mod, which is Minimalist Kerbal System flags for every body. We are going to turn off missing crews respawn, allow other launch sites. We are going to allow the Kerbals to level up immediately. Always allow action groups. And then we're going to go through these, and very few of them are we going to change. We want to change our contracts. I don't want to deal with asteroids. I do want to deal with bases. Collect science. I don't want to deal with comets. I do want to deal with exploration. I'm not too interested in the surveys. I would love to do rescue and recovery, but we're playing with TAC life support, so that makes this very difficult because the moment you come into range with the stranded Kerbal, the oxygen starts depleting, and typically by the time you get there, you are just rescuing a body. So with TAC life support, we are going to avoid that. Unfortunately, because those are fun kind of missions, but yep, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and put satellites on. We want that, stations, and tourism. So let's go with that. Let's turn our danger sound just down a little bit. We are using Deep Freeze, which is a cryogenic storage mod where you can take Kerbals for long distances without them needing the resources. So that'll be a way that we can kind of bypass long expeditions. We are going to go down here and hide the empty tech tree nodes, hide the unresearchable nodes. This, I know, this proves to be a more challenging approach to our science because we won't be able to see what is available until we have the ability to research it. So, unfortunately, I forgot to do this in the KXP version, so those people will be able to see the research ahead of. So we're going to deal with that kind of limitation, but nonetheless, we'll see who comes out on top. We are going to give a little bit of more rigidity to our joint reinforcement. We have KOS installed, but I'm not too familiar with using it, but maybe we'll utilize it in the future because I believe it integrates with a few of the IVA mods that we have. Crash. We're going to turn this cost down in the game even further, but we want to just adjust it here. Give our starting orbital altitude a little bit of room. I typically like to start my orbit at 100, so. And we're going to bring the orbiting altitude of planets without an atmosphere to about 29. Just below 30 is comfortable for most places. When we come down to TAC life support, we are going to turn everything down by roughly half, a little bit under, a little bit over. And this is just to kind of balance it out a little bit, I have played with TAC life support for a long time, and I want some challenge in this series, but I don't want it to the point where I'm prevented from my goal simply because we have too many life support requirements. Oops, this was already turned down. There we go. Okay. We're also going to add a little bit extra time before they die of food starvation, a little bit extra time without water, without oxygen, electricity. We're just going to give ourselves a little bit more of a buffer. The extremeness is going to come later as we explain some of the other mods that we have installed that will also add challenges to our gameplay. So a little bit of a leeway on one of the more challenging mods I feel comfortable with. And lastly, we're going to just turn off the deadlines for the tourism contract because oftentimes I've run into issues where if you combine a flight or take too long for it, you fail the mission even though you've completed it and brought the Kerbal home and everything. So just getting rid of that. Oh, and we're going to turn on crew killed and crew transferred for our vessel notes. We're going to try to keep a little bit better logs. So, all right, with all of that set, we are ready to start Season 5 of POV. Let's go ahead and get started. So we are playing with remote tech, and that means that we are going to have a more advanced communications network if we want to use probes. So that is going to be one of our major challenges and our major hurdles outside of the TAC life support. We're going to take throttle unaffected by loss of connection, and alarms added to Kerbal alarm clock. That's just extraneous stuff we don't need. That doesn't matter. We are going to have the original 4 in this playthrough. KXP gladly took new recruits and allowed us the familiar faces. But yeah, in case you had missed it from... I just got distracted by the beauty. In case you missed it from the announcement, we now are running both Parallax 2.0 and deferred lighting in addition to BlackRock's volumetric clouds and a few other beautification mods. We have a whole suite of them. A whole list of it will be in the description below. As always, mod with discretion and at your own risk. And please read all the instructions beforehand. But anyways, let's go ahead and get this started. We're going to just skip the build process for now because we have a lot to do today. And we're going to go ahead and get our probe on the launch pad to satisfy the first couple missions and get started. So here we are in mission control. It's got quite a high tech for what we need, but that's okay. We've got everything. Really? Is it not pointing the right? Oh. Where is this camera located? Alright, well, whoever attached that camera has a stern talking to coming to them. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. We don't have anything we need to do except action group number 1, and that is a temperature scan from the launch pad. So let's go ahead and keep that. We're going to switch over to our crash specialist. Oh, they don't have the walkie-talkie on this desk. Oh well. Then we will just recover the vessel good old-fashioned way. But anyways, that is our first launch done. Let's go ahead and now retrofit this and turn it into something that can go up. So, see you in a second. And here we are with launch number 2, which is actually a launch. As you see here, we have an SRB. It is red because we limited the amount of fuel and thrust it has. Our camera pointed down, so we should be able to see our ascent. Yeah, my action group should still be fine, but I'm going to keep this experiment. Actually, I'll keep this up. That'll tell me what biome I'm in. Okay, with everything set, let's go ahead. We don't have SAS control or throttle control, so let's go ahead and stage. Spacebar? Oh, okay. Well, I guess in the DE switch doesn't work. Let's go ahead and do our science. I don't think we're going to be able to grab this again to recover this vessel, so let's go ahead and transmit it. Nice. We have a battery anywhere? Somewhere around there. See if we can run that experiment again. Nope. It didn't do it quickly enough. Not that we would have been able to grab it anyways. Alright, so let's go ahead and recover that or nothing to recover, but let's just go to bed. Go ahead and get back into the Space Center. There we go. Not a lot of science, but 16.2 is enough to get started. And we're going to grab aeronautics because we're going to definitely need to lean into some plane research in this round. And we are going to go into engineering because that gives us 2 more science experiments plus a better communitron. And then lastly, I think we're also going to go into basic rocketry like they did in the other agency. So that is all of our science now. I think we are going to let's see, we completed our missions. Yes, we did. We have some money to spend, so I'm going to upgrade the mission control so we can grab more contracts. But that's all I'm going to do for now, so let's go ahead and hop in. Let's do a reach for the stars. We want to get into a suborbital trajectory. Get that's a probe in orbit. Orbit and return. Wow, not a lot of stuff. Where's my plane missions? Okay, escape the atmosphere. I'm gonna take this radial decoupler one because we don't have any radial decouplers, and that'll be pretty good. I'm gonna take this one as well, but I am gonna do that. The other one I'm gonna kind of hold on to for a little bit. We mainly took it for the advance. Here's our airplane one. Build and fly our first airplane. We're gonna definitely get that today. So for launch 3, we are going to attempt to pierce through the blanket of the sky and reach into space. There we go. As you see here, we use some of those contracted side decouplers, even though we haven't unlocked them yet, to attach 2 other SRBs. So hopefully this will give us enough thrust to get up high. We don't have any gimbaling, so unfortunately this will just basically be a sounding rocket that goes all the way up. But nonetheless, hopefully it'll do well. Let's go ahead. We'll have the resources up here. Let's do the ship log here because that'll let us know when we're in low space, high atmosphere, and so on and so forth. We've got 3 action groups worth of science and hopefully enough battery to last. Alright, so we know that this doesn't work, so let's just go ahead and spacebar and fly up. Nice, I like the readout. Always enjoy that. Looks like we're tilting a little bit over to the north, I believe. No, to the west. Beautiful to see the clouds. That's okay. It's such a light enough tilt, I don't think it's going to affect us too much. What's our resources for the stage? Oh, there it goes. Stage that, stage that. And we are continuing on our journey. Thrust to weight ratio of 3 and rising. We are now in the upper atmosphere, so let's go ahead and do our first set of science. There we go. We don't have parachutes, so we're going to just have to transmit it, take the loss, but deal with having to launch again once we do have parachutes. Alright, we still have 30% of electric charge remaining. We should have put solar panels on this. We had enough room to put solar panels and part limits and whatnot. There we go. That is the end of that. What is our orbit? We've got an apoapsis of 513 kilometers. We're making ourselves well into space. So that contract is done. That contract is done. And that's all we had for those. Perfect. So that was a flight successful. We don't have any explosives on here, so we could have terminated this early, but nonetheless, we are now in space. Yeah, we're now in space. Let's do action group 2. 8 science, well, 4 science because we're going to transmit. 6.4 transmit, not enough science. Well, shoot. Well, unfortunately, we didn't pack enough batteries on here to gather everything that we needed, but that's okay because we're going to gather that science, and instead of transmitting it, we're going to bring it home once we have access to parachutes. So we are going to just close this room off, let this rocket fall back to the planet, and we're gonna do better with the science that we have. Alright, so with this 50 science, I'm pretty sure we can do some pretty nice things with it. Oh yeah, this is empty tech tree. Whew, it's gonna be a challenge to know exactly what we want, but first thing we definitely want is survivability. We need parachutes if we want to bring our science back home. I think I'm also going to get this gadgets because it has 2 more experiments that we need, as well as another solar panel, so that's going to be good. That is an unfortunate spend. That took a lot of our science, over half, so we can't afford better engines just yet. But we can finally stop cheating this contract for the parts and just unlock them right now. However, there's nothing here that we actually desperately need right now, so we're not going to do that. We're going to save that science and do that later. But let's go launch another rocket and collect more science. But this time, I think we're going to change our launch pad. KXP didn't think to do this, but we've collected all the science off our launch pad capable, and so we can launch another one to gather the leftover science that we couldn't pick up from the upper atmosphere and space. And now that we have a parachute and a way of recovering it, we'll be able to get even more science than they did. So let's go work through the night and go get that done. Alright, 4th launch, back in command seat. Alright, let's go ahead and get our attitude up here, our cameras up there, and no, let's do our vessel view here again. That worked out pretty well. Turn it sideways so we can see. And down here we're actually going to put that attitude here. We're going to have our orbit display up there with our apoapsis and whatnot, and we will put our ship's log here so we can see which biome we are in. Once again, unfortunately, no SAS control, Let's go ahead and do action group 1 to collect this science from the launch pad, and we are going to actually keep it instead of transmitting it for the lesser amount of science because we have parachutes attached to this vehicle right there. So hopefully we'll be taking all of this science back home, and I'm very excited. Once again, that does not work, so let's go ahead and hit spacebar and launch ourselves. Once again, we are launching from the desert launch pad, desert launch site, because we at the KXP POV decided to take advantage of all the science we could possibly get, because that is the first person way. I unfortunately have no gimbal control, but it doesn't matter because it seems to be tipping over on its own anyways, which is nice. Our side SRBs are about to run out of fuel. Right there. We'll go ahead and sip. Ooh, don't know why that spun us so much, but nonetheless, it seemed to be a clean separation. Our thrust to weight ratio is still above 1, and we are heading. So we are flying over Kerbin's Desert, but I don't think we're in the upper atmosphere yet. Yeah, we're only at 15 kilometers altitude, so we'll wait a little bit longer, but hopefully this will get itself up into space, and we can collect that science that we lost in the previous launch. Oh, we are not going to make it to space. Alright then. We are now in the upper atmosphere, so we can go ahead and do that science. 9, 5.4, 3.6, 7.2. Not bad. Oh, look at that. That's gorgeous. But that's okay. It's okay that we're not making it to space. I mean, we would have been able to get a lot more science in space than what we're gonna get now, but we haven't landed in any of the biomes anywhere around here, or in fact anywhere on Kerbin. You know, we've only gotten launch pads and atmosphere, so that's okay. So when we land, we'll do our third set of experiments, and this will be considered a successful flight. So let's go ahead and time warp our way down, back through the atmosphere, or back down to the surface, I should say. And hopefully we don't explode and lose all of our experiments. We're now pointed head down, as you see here. Looking up at the blackness of space. 21, 18 kilometers above the surface. Back, you see some sunlight, 6 kilometers above the surface. At about 3, yeah, let's go ahead and stage our parachutes. There we go. Hopefully they slow us down before we hit the surface. Ooh, cutting it close. Oh, they are opening fully. Flipping ourselves around, and once again we see the ground below us. And see what's our vertical. We are descending only at -2 meters per second. Oh, this is perfect. We're going to be able to land without worrying about breaking anything. So let's time warp our way down to the surface, and I'll see you when we land. And here we are, approaching the surface. Let's just go ahead and kill time warp for the very last spot. Come in easy and gently, and touching down. Oh, and we're even touching down upright. Glorious. Couldn't ask for a better launch. Let's go ahead and do our science. I mean, I could have asked for a better launch. We could have gone to space, but nonetheless, everything went according to plan B, so to speak. So let's go ahead and recall this rocket, see what kind of science we got there, see what we can unlock, and then maybe hop into a cockpit, get a Kerbal out up in the air, and doing some science there. So I'll see you soon. Whoo, 53 science from that. Not bad at all. So let's go ahead and spend that right away. And you know what they say, science begets science. With the addition of a magnetometer boom, as well as the Science Junior, we are going to be getting a lot of science here very quickly. So instead of rushing rockets and trying to get up deeper into space, let's take a second and rove our way around the KSC, maybe even take flight into the air. So let's go ahead and grab that. We have 22 science left available, so we're gonna go ahead and unlock the ASET personal reentry pod, and that will be our first command pod piloted by the Kerbal, and we'll test that out and see how that goes. Alright, so we got Bob Kerman in the cockpit of this, shall we say, craft, for lack of a better word. I guess it's still technically a vehicle, because we have a cockpit here, complete with the Warbirds IVA. All of these are functional, but, oh, that's, not great. So apparently this this has a few issues. This should be our action group here. So hopefully we can just click that. But we need a little bit more science to do the tech that we need. So we're going to go ahead and grab all the science that we have available off the runway and then just get it done with, so we don't have to deal with that on our next flight. So not a lot of science at all. Very, very low. But believe we should be able to get ourselves out into EVA. Oh, maybe not. No, we cannot. Alright, well, never mind. We can't get into EVA. Oh. We can do that. Alright, well, we're not going to risk blowing ourselves up for potentially no extra amount of science that we can get easily elsewhere. So let's go ahead and pop this out and see what we can get from there. So with that, Bob Kerman is the first to get a ribbon. This is from the Final Frontier mod. This had been out of date for so long, for the entirety that I had been playing Kerbal. And then once the resurgence of modding in the modding community after the shutdown of KSB2, Final Frontier finally updated and is now current and usable on CCAN. So check that out. If you don't know what it is, basically you get these kind of military style ribbons for having certain achievements. This one is for awarded for researching 10 or more science points, so that's pretty cool. And we're gonna do it once again from the desert runway. And something I realized that I had missed in the last runway is we didn't do a material study. I realized, I was wondering why we got so little science, but we didn't do material studies. So let's go ahead and just grab everything we can, and we're not going to leave Bob out in the rain and in the cold for too long. And would you look at that, with that little boost in science, we now have 43. We can now afford, oh, got another service. At least a single mission as a scientist. Oh, we completed a mission? Well, definitely not that one. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and spend that hard-earned science. First, we need fabrication, which we will finally start have those for ourselves. And then we need early aviation, and we want this primarily. Let's go ahead and grab basic construction. Well, definitely wings. We definitely want some wings. I don't know. Basic construction or general rocketry? Let's do basic construction for now. It gives us this decoupler, which will be good. It gives us that decoupler. So those will be good for our orbital, but we're not doing orbital just yet. We're doing airplanes, but it's a good usage of our science. But anyways, we want to get that kind of high tech because, you know, I'm not very proud to admit it, but Werner von Kerman has been up to some shenanigans and through some nefarious means managed. Yes, that's right. We stole the prop plane. Well, the schematics for it anyways. And built it piece by piece. We did, however, replace the landing gear. So we will see how that takes off when we fly. But anyways, we are going to push the boundaries with this flight and see if we can get this space race off to a good start. Jebediah Kerman, time to take flight. Alright, time to hop into the cockpit, get ourselves ready to go. We're going to do our first set of science right here on the runway. We don't have much, a little bit of residual from the mystery goo, and a little bit of residual from the target scanning. However, that's okay because we've got plenty of science to grab elsewhere. So let's go ahead and get our engine running. We have our brakes on right now. Keep ourselves still. Let's full throttle up. And then kill our brakes. And hopefully this will be a good flight. Safe and sound. We'll land Jebediah Kerman all in one piece. And if I don't look away from the screen like I just did and peel off the runway, maybe we'll be pretty good. So we're passing the KSC. It's time to lift up, and we are airborne. Yes. We're gonna stow our landing gear and even ourselves out and get ready for our flight. Now, in the KXP group, they decided to land in the water in order to get the bathymetry data and all the science data for the water, but I don't feel like landing this craft there. It's a beautiful plane, and I think they were disrespectful to it. And Jebediah wants to set his sights out on that island runway out there. We are going to attempt to do a real landing, because you know what? That's what real pilots do. See, I feel a little bit better trash talking when it's just myself that I'm trash talking. Anyways, we are over the water, so let's go ahead and do action group number 2. And now we actually have some science to be had. We should actually, should transmit that crew report instead of what we have right now, but that's okay. We'll probably end up overriding it when we get there, but that's alright. So this is the Warbird's cockpit, the lowest tech cockpit you can get. No screens to be had. Nothing. Typically in other versions, it's just this particular cockpit. Typically this looks better, and once we unlock the Mach 1 cockpit, this whole thing will be looking great. We see the island runway off to our left, so we're gonna start to angle ourselves for our approach. And start coming in. And we don't have the greatest approach, so we're going to kind of pull a hard maneuver here. And really line ourselves up. And this is going to be a hairy re-entry, but hopefully we got it. So we killed our throttle. We're going to just coast our way down. Okay, a little nervous. I haven't quick saved or anything. Put our landing gear out. I don't know why we're getting warnings. That's not ideal. Let's go ahead and kill our propeller. Throw on our brake. Oh, can we do this without our parachutes? Let's just do our parachutes. Let's just be safe. Oh, we're coming off the runway. No, tilt back, tilt back. Whew. That's what I'm talking about, Jeb. That is what I'm talking about. Alright, so we got some science to be got. Not a lot. You know, we could have just launched our plane from this runway and gotten all that science. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, with Parallax 2, all the... well, not all, but a lot of the celestial bodies have a beautiful upgrade, so I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see them in first person, because you know what? First person is the true ideology. I don't care what KXP says. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But yeah, successful flight, Jeb. Thank you very much for your efforts, and let's go ahead and bring you home. And we grabbed a whopping 44 science from that as well. So let's go ahead. Oh, yep, that's right. Final Frontier. I keep forgetting about this. Let's bring this right here. Jebediah, researching 10 or more science points. Withstanding an acceleration of 3 Gs for 3 or more seconds. Wow. Oh, those hard turn maneuvers. Yes. One thing I haven't mentioned in this episode, I may have mentioned it in KXP, I'm not sure, but we are playing with a mod called Watch Your G-Forces, made by a friend of ours that makes it so deadly G-Forces will be deadly to Kerbal. So we got to keep an eye on that. So it's pretty interesting that they got the G-Force 3 ribbon, so we'll have to pay attention to that later. And first landing on Kerbin because we successfully landed, so that's great to see. But anyways, the thing we want to focus on next is general rocketry. Just go ahead and research that out the gate. We're gonna need to unlock advanced rocketry in the next episode, so that way we can start pushing our way towards orbital contracts. However, aviation for 45. There's some interesting things in here. We get the better cockpit, which I wouldn't mind, as well as some jet engines, which would also be pretty good. Get out of the prop era. We also get some different ones that I haven't seen before. Must be from one of the mod kits that I have. Oh, nice. We got like an X-plane looking thing. But yeah, we will experiment with this in the next episode. We'll try to see what the best usage of our time may be. We may end up doing more airplanes than KXP does, just because it may be an easier way to garner all the science that we get, so we don't end up stretching ourselves too thin. Maybe we'll launch with more confidence than they will, but we shall see. But that is where we are going to bring our day to a close. It was quite a productive day. You tell me which one you enjoyed more. And let the side choosing begin. KXP or KSP POV. But in the next episode, we are going to figure out where to go from here. In the next episode, we may do some more planes, we may do some more probes, but either way, I'm excited for what is to come, the space race. I really like this idea. I like the competition that I'm competing against myself, so I don't feel too bad, I don't feel too stressed, and it's been a lot of fun getting this started, so I hope you're enjoying it as well. But anyways, that's where I'm going to leave today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're looking forward for more KSP POV. If you did, please consider joining our channel members. Think about subscribing, drop me a like, let me know your thoughts, and I will see y'all in the next one. Take care.